welcome back to the program. We are breaking coverage tonight on a story that possesses the power to completely shatter the public image of the Duchess of Sussex and bring to light what could be arguably the most sophisticated fabrication in the annals of the British monarchy. We are moving past the era of mere internet speculation. We are finished with social media rumors and conspiracy theories. Tonight, our focus is on the findings of a distinguished medical authority who has completed an exhaustive forensic audit of the visual and physical records regarding Meghan's pregnancies. Her conclusion, stated with absolute medical certainty, is that Meghan utilized advanced prosthetic appliances to simulate the appearance of gestation, effectively masking the utilization of surrogates for the births of both Archie and Lilibet. Our investigative unit has secured exclusive access to a dossier compiled by Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a premier obstetrician and specialist in maternal physiology boasting a career of over 2.5 years at the top of her field. Dr. Mitchell has supplied a detailed medical testimony that documents numerous specific occasions where Meghan's apparent baby bump displayed physical mechanics and behaviors that are scientifically incompatible with a biological pregnancy. These include incidents of compression, unnatural displacement, and movement mechanics that can only be rationalized by the presence of external prosthetic molds engineered to mimic a gravid uterus. Dr. Mitchell's report, which encompasses frame-by-frame scrutiny of video archives, high-resolution photography spanning both alleged gestations, and cross-references with experts in prosthetic medical technology, provides what she terms undeniable proof. The allegation is that Meghan systematically misled the global public, the royal household, and potentially even her husband regarding the carrying of her children, employing high-grade theatrical or medical prosthetics to sustain the illusion of a natural pregnancy. Tonight, we are going to lay out the specific medical data that substantiates these claims of prosthetic deception. We will explore exactly why a highly respected medical professional felt it necessary to jeopardize her standing to bring this alleged fraud to light. We will connect this evidence to the troubling absence of hospital records and the sealing of birth certificates, issues that have already sparked constitutional debates regarding the line of succession. Furthermore, legal analysts explain why this medical testimony could be the catalyst for criminal fraud investigations, potentially nullifying the royal titles and inheritance rights of the children involved. Because when science can demonstrate that a pregnancy was artificially simulated through mechanical means, you have moved beyond simple public deception. You have engaged in systematic fraud that threatens the very constitutional bedrock of hereditary monarchy. Before we delve any deeper into this evidence, please ensure you are subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on. The information you are about to hear involves medical evidence so potent that it could permanently settle the debate regarding the legitimacy of these pregnancies, providing prosecutors with a roadmap of systematic deception spanning nearly 4 years. This is a matter of documented medical fraud. So please, subscribe now, and let us begin. We must first understand the genesis of this medical inquiry. The narrative of why a distinguished obstetrician would decide to risk her professional reputation by exposing royal pregnancy fraud reveals the compelling nature of the evidence regarding prosthetic deception. According to Dr. Sarah Mitchell, whose credentials include serving as Chief of Obstetrics at London's Royal Free Hospital for over a decade and authoring more than 40 peer-reviewed papers on pregnancy physiology, her initial interest in Meghan's journey was purely academic. However, during Meghan's public engagements in 2018 and 2019, she began to notice physical anomalies that defied the norms of normal fetal development. Dr. Mitchell's extensive medical training and experience overseeing thousands of pregnancies gave her the unique expertise to spot physical inconsistencies that she began cataloging through a careful review of publicly available media. She noted that the bump behaved in ways that violated the basic laws of pregnancy physiology. What started as professional curiosity rapidly turned into a full-scale medical investigation once Dr. Mitchell realized that the inconsistencies she was observing were not random oddities, but a consistent, systematic pattern that could only be explained by the artificial simulation of pregnancy through sophisticated prosthetic devices. Dr. Mitchell's decision to formalize her analysis was driven by a duty to medical truth and a fear that allowing such blatant medical deception to go unchallenged would erode public trust in the medical field and set a dangerous precedent for accepting fraudulent health claims from high-profile figures. The ensuing analysis took over 18 months of rigorous work, with Dr. Mitchell consulting biomechanics specialists and prosthetic experts to ensure her conclusions were scientifically sound and professionally unassailable. Her findings were initially shared with a select group of medical peers who validated her conclusions before she made the decision to hand her analysis to investigators and legal scholars who were already probing the constitutional questions surrounding the missing hospital records and sealed birth certificates. According to Dr. Mitchell's comprehensive medical dossier and supporting documents from prosthetic experts, the evidence of artificial pregnancy simulation is categorized into 4 distinct medical areas that demonstrate the systematic use of external devices to create the false facade of natural pregnancy. Category 1: Impossible physical compression and deformation. Dr. Mitchell's analysis highlights multiple instances where Meghan's pregnancy bump exhibits compression and deformation that violates the fundamental physics of pregnancy physiology. This is particularly evident during the January 2019 incident, where video footage captures Meghan bending forward, causing the bump to appear to fold inward in a manner that is physically impossible for a natural pregnancy. Dr. Mitchell clarifies that by the 7th month of gestation, the uterus contains approximately 2 liters of amniotic fluid and a fully developed fetus, creating internal pressure that maintains a firm, rounded shape regardless of external positioning. A natural pregnancy at this stage would resist compression, maintaining its form when the mother bends. However, Meghan's bump demonstrates the flexibility and compressibility consistent with hollow prosthetic devices filled with padding or foam. Additional video analysis from various public appearances shows similar compression patterns where the bump appears to deform under minimal pressure from clothing or movement, contradicting the physical properties of a pregnancy that involves substantial internal mass and fluid that cannot be compressed or redistributed by external force. Dr. Mitchell consulted with prosthetic manufacturers who confirmed that the compression patterns seen in the footage are consistent with artificial bellies designed for theatrical or medical simulation, constructed from flexible materials that collapse under pressure, unlike a natural uterus. Category 2: Unnatural shifting and repositioning of mass. Dr. Mitchell's analysis documents systematic evidence that Meghan's pregnancy bump appeared to shift position, alter its shape, and move in ways that are medically impossible in a natural pregnancy due to anatomical constraints. In a biological pregnancy, the fetus develops within the uterus, which is in a fixed anatomical position relative to the mother's skeletal structure. Movement is limited to fetal activity, which does not dramatically alter the overall position of the maternal abdomen. Let me reiterate that point. A distinguished obstetrician with 25 years of experience has provided testimony that Meghan's bump exhibited physical behaviors medically impossible for a natural pregnancy, explicable only by sophisticated prosthetic devices. Video evidence analyzed by Dr. Mitchell shows the bump appearing at different heights on her torso, displaying different shapes relative to her body size, and showing different proportional relationships within short time frames, occurrences impossible in a natural pregnancy where the uterus maintains a consistent position. The analysis includes side-by-side comparison photographs taken days apart that show dramatic variations in bump size, shape, and placement that exceed any natural variation, suggesting the use of different prosthetic devices or the repositioning of artificial aids between events. Category 3: Prosthetic device failure and mechanical malfunction. Dr. Mitchell's most damning evidence involves the analysis of specific incidents where the prosthetic devices appeared to malfunction or behave in ways that exposed their artificiality. Most notably, the widely analyzed footage from a March 2019 engagement, where Meghan's bump appears to partially detach or shift position while she walks, creating a visible separation between the prosthetic and her actual body. Frame-by-frame breakdown of this footage shows mechanical behavior consistent with external attachments rather than natural biology, with the bump moving independently of her torso in ways impossible for a natural pregnancy. Dr. Mitchell consulted biomedical engineers who confirmed that the mechanical behavior observed is consistent with prosthetic attachment systems experiencing slippage or failure under movement stress, particularly if not properly secured. Further analysis identified instances where the bump exhibited mechanical properties such as uniform density, artificial surface tension, and consistent geometric shapes that contrast sharply with the natural irregularities and organic asymmetries of authentic pregnancy. Category 4: Timeline inconsistencies proving artificial management. Dr. Mitchell's analysis extends beyond physical appearance to examine the medical timeline of both pregnancies, identifying patterns inconsistent with natural conception and recovery, suggesting systematic management of an artificial simulation. Both pregnancies allegedly occurred without reported fertility assistance despite Meghan's age, 37 and 39, and previous remarks about fertility concerns, achieving immediate conception success rates that are statistically highly unusual. However, when combined with the total absence of normal pregnancy symptoms, complications, or the physical variations typical of natural gestation, the timeline points to artificial management. Let's walk through the timeline of this alleged deception, as the progression shows systematic fraud spanning nearly 4 years involving multiple devices. July 2018, alleged conception occurs during the honeymoon, with immediate success despite previous fertility concerns. October 2018, pregnancy announcement during the Australia tour, with initial appearances showing a small, perfectly round bump exhibiting geometric regularity inconsistent with early pregnancy. November 2018 to March 2019, systematic documentation of prosthetic inconsistencies, including size variations, positioning changes, and compression incidents demonstrating artificial device use. Video analysis from this period shows multiple mechanical failures impossible with natural pregnancy. April, May 2019, the final weeks show dramatic size increases followed by an immediate return to pre-pregnancy appearance within days of birth, indicating prosthetic removal rather than natural post-birth recovery. May 6, 2019, birth announcement with no hospital records, medical staff confirmation, or standard documentation, suggesting a surrogate birth occurring alongside the conclusion of the prosthetic pregnancy. June 2020 to February 2021, second alleged conception and announcement with improved prosthetic techniques showing fewer obvious failures but continued evidence of artificial simulation through geometric consistency. March, June 2021, advanced prosthetic devices demonstrate more sophisticated attachment but continue to exhibit physical behaviors impossible with natural pregnancy, including compression resistance. June 4, 2021, second birth announcement with immediate sealing of birth certificates and a 48-hour delay, suggesting coordination between surrogate birth and the end of the simulation. July 2021, present, complete elimination of pregnancy evidence with immediate return to pre-pregnancy physique and no documentation of natural post-birth recovery. So why does this matter beyond celebrity gossip? Because under both British and American law, systematic fraud involving forged medical representations and false official documents constitutes serious criminal activity resulting in substantial prison sentences. The medical evidence of prosthetic pregnancy fraud provides prosecutors with scientific proof of systematic deception, eliminating defenses based on privacy. Dr. Mitchell's testimony meets federal standards for expert witnesses, providing the foundation for charges including medical fraud, document fraud, and conspiracy, carrying maximum sentences of 10 to 20 years. We consulted 3 legal experts specializing in medical fraud and constitutional law to understand the implications. Former federal prosecutor James Richardson, who handled major medical fraud cases for 15 years, stated that medical expert testimony proving artificial simulation provides the strongest foundation for fraud charges because it eliminates the ability to claim privacy when no medical condition existed. Scientific proof of simulation removes any legitimate basis for privacy claims while providing evidence of deception for gain. Constitutional law expert Margaret Thompson emphasized that proven fraud would trigger an immediate review of royal succession, as hereditary monarchy requires legitimate birth verification. If medical evidence proves the pregnancies were simulated, it raises fundamental questions about the children's eligibility for titles and inheritance, requiring parliamentary review. Criminal defense attorney Michael Davis noted that such medical expert testimony is virtually impossible to challenge in court because it relies on scientific analysis rather than disputable witness testimony. Here is what is happening behind the scenes. Dr. Mitchell's analysis has triggered investigations extending to criminal referrals and international cooperation. According to sources, her testimony has been provided to federal prosecutors and law enforcement agencies examining whether this constitutes criminal activity. British authorities have reportedly begun a preliminary review of succession law implications. Sources suggest multiple agencies are coordinating investigations into potential document fraud and international conspiracy charges resulting from systematic deception across jurisdictions. Palace legal authorities are also privately examining whether this constitutes a breach of royal protocols or criminal activity requiring a formal response. So, what are the likely scenarios? Scenario 1. Criminal prosecution. Federal and state prosecutors could use Dr. Mitchell's testimony to bring charges of medical and document fraud, carrying substantial prison time. A conviction would result in sentences of 8 to 15 years and establish that artificial pregnancy simulation is serious criminal fraud. Scenario 2. Constitutional review. British authorities could use the evidence to initiate a formal review of royal status, potentially resulting in the removal of titles and succession rights. This would require parliamentary action to address the fraud. The medical evidence is now undeniable. The only question remaining is not if the deception occurred, but how the legal and constitutional systems will respond to what appears to be the greatest fraud in royal history.